Have you ever had a bad day and then all of a sudden someone's come along and given you a big bear hug and you have felt so much better? Well, that is the magic of human touch. And that's exactly what I want to be talking about in today's episode. I'm going to be talking about the human touch because I wanted to find out, is there any scientific research in regards to the human touch and how it can assist us in our everyday life? Well, in today's episode, you're in for a treat because I'm going to be talking about the human touch, so the history about the human touch, and then I'm going to go into detail about scientific studies and research in regards to the human touch, and then how you can incorporate it into your everyday life so you can live an optimal life. It's Mondays with Mihaela. That's right, me. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love, and appreciate your support. For any of you who are new to my channel, new to this episode, new to this podcast, I'm a qualified naturopath and I'm absolutely passionate about all things health, business, and overall success. And this podcast, the Natural Health Podcast, is here to help you, provide you with simple, savvy, and sustainable health hacks that you can incorporate in your everyday life to have optimal health. That's right. And today's topic is such an interesting one because I absolutely love it. And it's got to do with the human touch. I know that, every single day we get touched here and there. We get brushed upon through strangers. Loved ones give us a hug. Your mum touches your face. Your partner touches your face. Your friends hug you, But is there something to it? Because we do feel better after we get a hug. We do feel better when someone just touches our shoulder and says everything is going to be okay. Well, in today's episode, I'm going to go into detail about what is the deal with the human touch, the scientific research in regards to the human touch, and then how you can incorporate it. Well, let's get into it. So I've traveled a lot, and in parts of Europe, physical touch is absolutely normal. I would see people give kisses on the cheeks, hug each other, same sex, different sex, strangers, different ethnics, different religion, different beliefs. You just hug them. You say hello, you hug them, you shake their hand. And that's absolutely normal in Europe. I know when I have a conversation with my auntie, she nudges me about 20 times in like 2 minutes. It's like, hey, or hey. It's just a normal thing in certain cultures. However, in other cultures, if you get brushed, like if you're walking and there's a lot of people walking and you get brushed upon, you have to say, I'm so sorry, excuse me. It's considered as rude in such countries such as maybe even Japan. It's considered rude, and physical touch is not a good thing. So it depends on the culture and the situation also in regards to the touch. But I know that if I get a hug from someone, I feel absolutely better. So what is the deal with this? Let's look into it. So touch is the first sense we acquire and a secret weapon to so many successful relationships. When kids are born, the first thing that you do is clearly the kid is born. And then what happens is they place them on your chest to get that skin on skin contact. And that is where the magic starts. That is where human touch, and that is where relationships and trust is built upon, that first initial touch on skin to skin contact. And that is so important in kids, right? Even when they're kids, they're running around in their nudies, you're giving them hugs, kind of skin on skin contact, but that later on in life goes, and that is not that great. It should continue on. We should have that skin on skin contact. We should get that hugs. We should get that pat on the back because human touch is key. So the connection between touch and mental and physical well-being is extremely potent. You can't turn off touch. It just doesn't go away. But let's look into it. What is touch? How can you explain that to someone? Well, touch is the detection of mechanical stimulus impacting the skin, including in noxious and non-noxious biomechanical stimulus. This is if we're getting really technical. It is an essential sense for the survival and the development of mammals and humans. Contact of solid objects influenced with the skin gives necessary information to the central nervous system that allows the exploration and recognition of the environment and initiates a movement. So for example, what this is saying is that touch is very important, because if you touch a hot oven, it goes to your central nervous system and you back off because you don't want to burn yourself. Touch is also very important for appreciation. Yes, appreciation, social contact, and sexuality. Sense of touch is the least vulnerable sense, although it can be distorted in many pathological conditions. So what it's saying is that, a lot of people can't smell, can't see, can't hear, but most of us can touch and we can feel that touch. And this is where the magic starts. So touch has actually been described as one of the most fundamental means of contact with the world, which is extraordinary, as touch is vital in severe domains of the infant and child's development, including cognitive, social development, and this can be seen through numerous studies. So the interesting thing that I wanted to share with you was a study by a psychologist called Matthew, who studies touch, right? In 2009, he concluded a study where he demonstrated that we have an innate ability to feel other people's emotions via touch, which is absolutely extraordinary. So what he did is in a series of studies, he had volunteers attempt to communicate a list of emotions to blindfolded strangers. So the results suggested that our caution about touching, we come equipped with the ability to receive emotions. So what they did is the participants communicated 8 emotions, and these were anger, fear, disgust, love, gratitude, sympathy, happiness, and sadness. And the accuracy rate was 78%. Even Matthew said, I was surprised. He admitted. He said, I thought the accuracy would be at a chance level at about 25%, but he ended up being 78%, which is absolutely extraordinary. So that means we can tell people's emotions just by a single touch. So what I see happening in the world at the moment is that a lot of us are not getting hugs. A lot of us are not getting a pat on the backs. A lot of us are not shaking hands. A lot of us are not doing this because of the current situation in the world where we are told to stay away from individuals. So there's this term called skin hunger, which I believe is even higher now than it ever has been. So researchers have coined this term, which is a state of being touch deprived and longing for physical human contact. Depression and health issues, both physical and mental, can often be effects of skin hunger, most severely felt by seniors, prisoners, and other people who lead solitary lifestyles, which is us. We've been locked down in certain areas of our life. Some people aren't, but during the time that we were locked down, or actually are at the moment, we may be getting skin hunger, which can affect us mentally and physically. So I believe a lot of the community is skin hungry at the moment, in my view. What are your views? What are your thoughts? Do you believe that? I would love to know your thoughts. So let's get into this segment that I found so interesting, absolutely interesting. And this is the scientific benefits of human touch. I'll go through a number of them. And number one is touch is dependent. So before I even start, I wanted to say that number one is that touch is dependent on the situation. So the effects of touch depends, of course, upon the situation. A touch from someone can be relaxing, reassuring, off-putting, or gentle, soothing, or even stimulating. Touch can also bond us together in many ways, transcendent from any other words or situations in which words may not help. Taking babies, for instance, in a study, it found that fathers who gave their infants daily massages displayed more enjoyment and warmth with their child. In another, babies given a blood test were either swaddled in blankets or held skin on skin by their mother. So they were wrapped up in a blanket or held by their mother. The babies being hugged had a lower heart rate and cried 82% less than those left wrapped up lying in a blanket, which is very interesting. So touch comfort can be extended to older kids too. After receiving a massage session, absolutely love massages, adolescents with ADHD expressed feelings of happiness, and the teachers noted a decrease of being fidgety in the classroom after they received the massage. Even self-massage has benefits. A proven study of people trying to deal with the cravings and anxiety associated with quitting of smoking, when they felt the urge to smoke, test subjects were advised to rub their hands together or stroke their earlobes, which is very interesting, knowing the vagus nerve, rubbed away the tension that was building up. So that helped them rub away the tension just by going like this or rubbing their hands. So self-massage, self-touch. Some research suggests that people who are deprived of touch early in their lifetime may have a tendency towards violent or aggressive behaviors later. And researchers in rats have found that rats have a strong mothering instinct, which means, so they measured that by licking and grooming their babies, were more likely to have babies that showed a stronger mother instinct. So that's interesting out there if you have kids, are planning to have kids, or even looking back at your own childhood. So going back to, in regards to its touch is dependent, a researcher from Finland noted in a study paper published last year, whether touch produced a positive or negative effect is highly dependent on the context which it occurs. Touch does not universally lead to positive emotions, they explained. For instance, they noted that cultural differences can result in touch being seen as a negative or breaching their private space. So that's number one, which I wanted to express, is that touch is not always a positive thing, is always dependent on the situation. So before we go into the scientific health benefits of touch, which I kind of spoke a little bit about, but I wanted to go and start where it all starts, is life, newborns and touch. The benefits start from the moment we are born. A review of research conducted by Tiffany, who is a leader in the field of study of touch, found that preterm newborns who receive just 3 times 15-minute sessions of touch therapy each day for 5 to 10 days gained 47% more weight than premature infants who were not given this massages, this human touch, which is absolutely extraordinary. So similarly, what happened is a researcher, Darlene and Michael, have found that rats whose mothers licked and groomed them a lot when they were infants grew up to be a more calmer and intelligent individuals and more resistant to stress and have a stronger immune system. This research sheds light why historically an overwhelming percentage of human babies in orphanages where caretakers starved them of touch have failed to grow to the expected height or even weight and have shown some behavioral issues. So to touch can be to give life, said by Michelangelo, and he was absolutely right, especially in our early years and going on later on in life. The other one that I wanted to talk about is definitely not to do with babies, is Alzheimer's disease and touch, which is absolutely extraordinary. Proper use of touch truly has a potential to transform the practice of medicine and any type of practice. I strongly believe that, and they're cost effective. Most of them. Self-massage is free. Getting a massage is not that expensive. And even getting a hug from your mate is free. So for example, studies have shown that touching patients with Alzheimer's disease can have huge effects on getting them to relax, make emotional connections with others, and reduce their symptoms of depression, which is extraordinarily high in Alzheimer's patients. That is one there. The other one is oxytocin and touch, which is a little happy chemical. The reason why intimate back strokes and romantic touching in general are so powerful lies in the release of oxytocin, commonly known as the love hormone. As oxytocin levels increase during hugging and making love, there is a greater amount of it being produced among people who are in relationships, both casual and long-term, than those who are single. And this was the research that I found. So in regards to back rubbing, which is quite interesting, intimate back rubbing, I mentioned that there's also an age-old explanation why most of us love someone who scratches our back. It turns out back scratching used to be a grooming need, a favor done to our ancestors by their loved ones. With time, it evolved into a social and even mating function, and that's just receiving a back rub. That's why we all love back rubs. I love back rubs. I'm pretty sure you do too. But that is an interesting fact right there. The other one that I want to talk about is trust and touch. It is so interesting. So touch helps people bond together. So Daniel, the founding director of Greater Good Science Center, who's also a professor of psychology at the University of California, he says that he found that physical touch activates the brain's orbitofrontal cortex, linked to feelings of reward and compassion. So according to him, studies show that a simple touch can trigger a release of oxytocin, which is the love hormone that I spoke about earlier. Our skin contains receptors that directly elicit emotional response, which it links back to the study that I spoke about earlier, us being able to feel people's emotions through touch. So through stimulation of our skin or nerve endings that respond to pain, according to researchers. So all of these, so what this is saying that we are able to feel and sense via touch. And when we touch, we can sense and feel how the other person is feeling. And thus, essentially, it allows us to build trust or even break trust, which is very interesting. And also that is key when you think about any type of relationship. It is built on trust. The other one that I want to talk about is decreased disease and a stronger immune system linked to touch. Physical touch may decrease disease. Wow. Just that simple line just blows everything away. Isn't that crazy? So according to research conducted at the University of North Carolina, women who received more hugs from their partners had a lower heart rate and blood pressure. Hugs strengthen the immune system, and this was said by them in quotation. The gentle pressure on the sternum and the emotional charge activates the solar plexus chakra, which stimulates the thymus gland, which regulates and balances the body's production of white blood cells in regards to the immune system, which helps you keep a healthier immune system. So that is really interesting in regards to the disease, helping your immune system. It's absolutely crazy. Another one that I found, which was really interesting, is getting a pat from your doctor and eye contact it boosted the survival rate of patients with complex diseases. So if you came into the doctor's office and you had a disease which was extreme and was very complex, if your doctor looked at you in the eyes and pat you on the back, you were more likely to live longer and the disease wouldn't have such a huge impact on you. Absolutely crazy. And that's why I absolutely love looking at my patients. I love giving them a hug. I love saying hello, and I love making a deep connection with anyone who works with me. The other one is learning and touch. This is vital because we know there are so many individuals currently in school who have learning difficulties, learning issues. Okay, so if this can be fixed by a simple something as a touch, why not? So greater learning engagement. When teachers touched students on their shoulders, it encouraged their learning. So French psychologist Nicholas reported that when teachers pat students in a friendly way, those students are 3 times as likely to speak up in class. Another recent study has found that when librarians pat the hand of a student checking out a book, that student says he or she likes the librarian more and is likely to return to the library. And we know how key it is for all of us to go to the library, get those books and get that knowledge in us. So librarians, if any of you are listening, go for it. Eye contact, a pat on the back, a pat on the hand, get it in there. You will get more people coming to the library. For example, one study reported that brain scans have revealed that effective touch activates the cortex, which is what we spoke about earlier, a brain region associated with learning and decision making, as well as within emotional and social behavior. There's more. There's just so much more research. I could be going on and on and on and on and on. The other one is positive emotions and touch, and we all love being positive, don't we? A study found that women who offer physical touch as a symbol of support to their partners showed higher activity in ventral striatum. which is a brain area involved in the reward system. So offering a reassuring hug to a person who's in pain or feeling down can actually be beneficial both for the receiver and the giver. Both people involved in the interaction experience more positive emotions and feel more strongly connected to each other. That is crazy. Give that person a hug because you're going to feel good and they're going to feel good. Another one of my favorite is stress and touch. Let's talk about stress, baby, because I love stress. I'm not a singer. But let's talk about stress and touch. Other research has revealed that sharing in the nonverbal communication of affection, touch, which includes hugging and or kissing or both, can buffer the effects of stress and accelerate recovery from it. Go on out there, hug, kiss, your stress will go downhill. There you go. One study published in 2014 in a Journal of Psychological Science suggested that the stress buffer provided by sharing hugs actually has a protective effect against respiratory infections. That is crazy. Us coming into winter right now, and I know we're told to stay away from people, but look what a hug can do. It can actually, you can be more protective from respiratory infections, which are huge in the winter months. Just think about it. Someone putting a touch on you lets you go into a parasympathetic mode, which means you cannot be in a sympathetic mode, which means you cannot be stressed. And doing that once, twice, 3 times a day from someone that you love, or even, someone that is comfortable hugging you back, isn't that absolutely amazing? That is, oh my gosh, that just blows my mind. Another one which I wanted to talk about is blood pressure and touch. More frequent partner hugs and higher oxytocin levels, the love hormone, are linked to lower blood pressure and heart rate in premenopausal women. So if you have high blood pressure, if you have high heart rate, hug more. There you go. The other one is pain and touch. The first study, which appeared in the Journal of Scientific Reports in 2017, it showed that if 2 partners touched and one of them experienced mild pain, the touch actually diminished the sensation of pain. Mind-blowing. In a second study in the Journal of PNAS, the team observed the same effect in groups of young couples when they were just holding hands. If you're in pain, just hold hands and it may go away. This is research that is showing it. It's crazy. Lower distress in kids. A study from Sweden. I love Sweden. The findings of which were published in 2017 in the Journal of Research on Language and Social Interaction, which a lot of us are not doing at the moment, found that embracing and patting children in distress has a soothing effect. Well, I could have told you that, but okay, yes. In such a circumstance, the study author explains the interaction involves the adult signaling that they are available to offer soothing contact, followed by the child's acknowledgement of this invitation and positive response to it. The interaction and coordination involved in this scenario allowed the child in distress to regain a sense of security and reassurance. That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful because a lot of us are going through stress at the moment and distress. But not only us, children are going through stress and distress. Other individuals, we're all going through it. And something as simple as this can help. Why not? And then it brings me to one of the final ones, which is touch your immune system. We are all talking about the immune system. We are all talking about the immune system, and it's something as simple as a touch can help. Let's hear about it. In the field's research on adults with illnesses like AIDS and cancer, massage therapy was shown to boost participants' natural killer cells, which attack bacteria and viable cancer cells. So we need our natural killer cells, which is the innate response, the straightaway response, and it kills those viruses and bacteria that we're exposed to. I did an amazing episode on the immune system. Jump on it, listen to it, which goes into detail about natural killer cells and so forth. But back to this. So what this can do, the calming effect of touch of the massage can improve stress response, sleep patterns, allowing you to spend more time in restorative sleep, in that deep sleep that we need. And other research shows that touch makes the body stronger and more resilient to pain, and it bumps up your level of oxytocin, which is the hormone responsible for that warm, fuzzy love feeling. So this is why cuddling is great. But cuddling is great for your immune system. So cuddle for your immune system. If anyone goes, why are you giving me a hug? to boost my immune system. And to wrap it up, let's wrap it up. Overall well-being. Adults require human touch to thrive. This is why I'm talking about this in today's episode. We need human touch to thrive. In recent years, a wave of studies has documented some incredible emotional and physical health benefits that come from touch. The research suggests that touch is a truly fundamental to human communication, bonding, and health. Being touched and touching someone has a fundamental mode of human interaction, and increasingly, many people are seeking out their own way to get this. So, how are you able to incorporate it? Touch in every day. Well, what we spoke about earlier, the study with the smoking, was very interesting. Rubbing your hands, your own human touch, rubbing your earlobes, massaging your head, giving yourself a little bit of a massage, calming yourself down by yourself. That's all you need. It's just yourself. The other one is getting a massage from a professional massage therapist. I love getting massages and I'm due for one. The other one is chiropractic treatment, osteopathic treatment, things like that. The other one is consensual touch by other individuals. Chiropractors, like I spoke about. These are all things that you can do. Some are free, some you can pay for. But what I would recommend is including touch in your health routine. There are so many medication, there's so many supplements, there's so many foods that you can take in. But something as simple as a hug, something as simple as touching your rubbing your hands together, touching your earlobes can help you be at optimal health and assist you in your health and well-being journey. There you have it. Today's episode all about the human touch, and let's not get into skin hunger, which we are all depriving ourselves from due to the current situation. Okay, think about it. There's so many ways that you're able to get human touch, and I would highly recommend that for yourself. If you are in quarantine or not able to go outside, like I said, you have your own touch. Do it yourself massages, get onto it. That wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love and appreciate your support. Do what you do best. Love, like, share, comment, rate, review. Do it, because the more people know about this podcast, the more people know about this episode, the more people are able to wake up and go towards optimal health. That is my key for individuals to get optimal health so they have the success in their business, so they have the success in their personal life just by having optimal health. It's as simple as having optimal health. Get to it. Do simple, savvy, sustainable health hacks that I provide you with. You can find me, if you want to know more, you can find me on Instagram at mihaela.raguz, or you can go on, if you haven't heard the podcast and you're listening on YouTube, the podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Tunes, iTunes, whatever it's called, and it's the Natural Health Podcast. Get on there, let me know your thoughts, comment, rate, review. Love, and appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Until next Monday, love you.